welcome to this presentation of Wheaton Thunder Sports here on WETN. My name is Zach Bowler. Today, the Wheaton College men's basketball team takes on Illinois Wesleyan University here at King Arena. Wheaton comes into the game unbeaten at 11-0 and ranked number 1 in the nation for the first time in the school's history. They'll face a stiff test today, though, in their first conference game as they take on the 19th-ranked Titans, who come into the game 8-3 on the young season. Now we'll send it out to Jacob Peklo and Noah Helm, who have all of the action from today's game. Take it away, guys.
In 2008, the Titans had the Thunder's number, winning all 3 showdowns between the two schools. But right now, those numbers really don't matter. The only one that does is the number 1. 1 may be the loneliest number that you'll ever know at times, but for Wheaton, the view from the top is quite scenic. The Thunder are ranked first in the nation for the first time since 1995, while Illinois Wesleyan comes into tonight's game ranked 19th in the country. We're getting ready to kick off conference season here at King Arena, and it's the NCAA on WETN next. And Noah, Wheaton played a crazy game on Saturday in Grinnell, Iowa, racking up 130 points. How many points will it take to beat Wesleyan tonight?
Well, not 130, hopefully, or else we're going to have a game that we really should not be looking at. Wheaton is a team that holds opponents to about 30% field goal shooting. And Illinois Wesleyan, on the other hand, is going to let teams shoot around 42, 43%. So Wheaton needs to get at this game defensively if they want to look to stop this IWU team.
Yeah, so Illinois Wesleyan just had their little trip, their winter break trip just concluded, and they were down in West Palm Beach, Florida. They won a couple games down there. And, of course, Wheaton was out in Wittenberg, Ohio, in the Wittenberg tournament, winning that one against Taylor and Mount St. Joseph's. And we got to see both of those ones, obviously. A little bit of a different style. And, no, we talked about this before the broadcast began. 62 points beat Taylor. 62-46, and I think that was the most impressive part, was the 46 points they held Taylor to after the 3-point barrage they win on against Wittenberg in the first round of the tournament.
Yeah, Wheaton has done a tremendous job of perimeter pressure as well all season. We talk about opponents' field goal percentage. It's just absolutely stellar. Wheaton's holding opponents to 63.5 points a game. And then shooting, 40% shooting is Wheaton's opponent field goal percentage. And then from 3, that was the 30%. So you look at this team's defensive intensity on the perimeter, and it's top-notch. It's got to be up there, top of the nation, right along with their D3 Hoops ranking right now.
That's right, the D3Hoops.com rankings came out for the first time in 1999. Wheaton was ranked first back in 1995, but that was a coach's poll. So this is the first time ever, like Zach mentioned to you at the top of the telecast, that Wheaton has been ranked first in this poll. So we're looking at a pretty historic showdown tonight for Wheaton, first time being number 1, and hopefully we can stay here for a while anyway.
You definitely hope so. We got time running down, and one huge thing that separates teams is shooting from the foul line, and Wheaton does a tremendous job of not only getting to the foul line but converting those foul shots. And I mean, those are gimmies, and Coach Harris is gonna want to take every single one of those to the bank tonight.
Yeah, and we can talk about the history that occurred last time Wheaton is able to beat Illinois Wesleyan. We'll talk about that in a second here, as they're going to have the national anthem. that was the playing of your national anthem here at King Arena as we're getting ready for the first CCIW Battle of the Year between Wheaton and Illinois Wesleyan. And Noah, as I was starting to say before we went for the national anthem break right there, last time Wheaton won against Wesleyan was down at the Shirk Center back in 2007, February 9th. And in that game, Kent Raymond did what you said about the foul line, 20 for 20 at the free throw line.
Yeah, you can't get much better than that. That's a CCIW record, actually. He finished that game with 44. You look at, we talked already about Wheaton's opponent field goal percentage from the floor and from the perimeter. If you look at what Wheaton actually did in the last 3 games, the last 3 times that Wheaton played Illinois Wesleyan, they lost all 3 of those games, and they shot an average of 25% from behind the arc. Wheaton needs to get better looks tonight.
Yeah, and Wheaton's going to have to do that against a very good traveling Illinois Wesleyan team tonight. Let's take a quick look, Noah, at the starting lineup, of course, for Illinois Wesleyan.
All right, starting at guard is going to be Travis Rosenkrantz. He's averaging 11 points a game. He'll probably be their go-to guard with Sean Johnson out, at least of the starters. He'll be joined on the floor by Sean Dwyer. We talked about, reminded us a little bit of Drew Neitzel, especially in the green that they're wearing. Doug Sexhauer's their big man. And then also on the floor is Kashnitsky and Chamernick.
And then first for Wheaton, Noah, it's going to be a familiar cast and crew coming out there, the same one we've seen since Andy Wheely went down with the injury. The starting 5, 3-guard look kind of once again for the Thunder.
That's right, 3-guard look. You're going to have a sophomore, Andrew Johns, starting. He's gotten them some good minutes off the bench, and now that Wheely's hurt, he's been filling in that starting role. So Wheaton transitioned to a 3-guard lineup. He's going to be joined on the floor by 5th-year senior Kent Raymond, Ben Panner, Tim McCrary, the freshman who has really been phenomenal so far for the Thunder. And then Jake Carwell in his new orange shoes. He was talking to us about that before the game. He loves them, and he says he's ready to fly in them.
We're hoping to see some flight taken off here. There were so many dunks for Wheaton in that game against Grinnell, and you saw Tim McCrary putting up a career high in points and rebounds in that game, and Carwell also taking advantage of those holes in the Grinnell defense. Could be a little bit back to the more traditional type of offense today against this Illinois Wesleyan team. Wheaton in the traveling white, or in the home white uniforms, and Wesleyan in their traveling green uniforms with the white trim. They look like Michigan State University. And Carwell will jump it with Sexhauer at midcourt here, and we are just about ready for basketball. Wheaton against Illinois Wesleyan. The tip is controlled by Panner here in the backcourt. Wheaton moving right to left across the radio dial. Panner's got it under control. Matched up against Rosenkrantz on the outside, goes outside for Johns. Johns moving to left corner here for Carwell. Carwell trying to dip it in the low post, instead back to Johns, left wing. Raymond thought about the 3 for a second there, pulls it back out. McCurry from about 19, looking inside. Carwell steps into a 17-foot jumper, rattles in and out, rebound pulled down right there by Kashnitsky. And Wesleyan coming back with it the other way. Johns nearly stripped it away, and Carwell comes up with it, knocked it away from Dwyer. Here comes Raymond back with it the other way, still no score. Raymond looking, trying to feed the post. Instead, he goes into the corner here for Andrew Johns. Johns trying to find a cutting Panner. Instead, leaves it right there for McCrary in the right corner. Inside, Raymond, good cut, puts it up and in.
And, you know, Raymond has got that mismatch on Dwyer. Dwyer's only 5'10", so Raymond's got about 4 inches on him.
The guards for Wheaton much taller than these Wesleyan guards. 5'10" for Dwyer and 6 foot for the other guard, Rosenkrantz. Left hand put up in the post there by Sackler, knocked away by Carwell. Here comes Panner, back with it the other way. Panner cuts it to the middle of the court across the Wheaton logo, trying to work it. In the middle of the court, goes for Johns. Johns dips in the low post for Raymond. Raymond turns, falls, fires, fadeaway jumper, off target. Rebound pulled down here by Kashnitsky once again. And he's going to bring it into the front court. Moving against Raymond with some speed. Falls, fires, fades, and hits the jumper for 2. We're not at 2 here in the early going.
Not afraid to bring the ball up the floor. Kept waiting for him to hand it to the guard, but he just took it to the hole.
So here comes Raymond with it. Matched up against Dwyer on the outside. Goes to McCrary in the right wing. Trying to find a cutter. Picks up his dribble. Goes, turns and looking again. Finally gets it out to Johns. Deep up at the top of the key. Johns dribble drive, left hand. Goes outside McCrary. McCrary trying to feed the post for Raymond. That's knocked away and picked off by Sexhauer. Leaves it right here for Rosenkrantz. Rosenkrantz moving it. Cuts it in the middle of the court, working against Panner. Leaves it off to the outside right there for Kashnitsky once again. Kashnitsky inside. Blocked away on the outside. They were trying to go there for Chamernick. Knocked away by McCrary. Here comes Johns with it the other way. Johns trying to leave her Panner, steps into a 17-foot jumper. That's off target. Rebound pulled down by Sexar and knocked away by Panner. It's going to go out of bounds. They're going to say
off Panner.
Off Panner, so it will be Wesleyan basketball. So very frenetic first 2 minutes here and only 2 points on the scoreboard for each team.
Yeah, you saw Raymond trying to get post up that third time down the floor, and they actually started doubling on him, putting Sexauer in to help Dwyer out. So Wheaton's probably going to go away from that.
So here comes Rosenkrantz with it into the front court, dribbling left into the left wing. Double shown quickly for McCrary, backed it off. Go to the outside here for Koshnitsky. Koshnitsky dribble drive, left hand, picks up his dribble, goes to the outside, nearly stolen away by Panner as he got it out to Rosenkrantz. Rosenkrantz dribbling, doing a lot of dribbling, shot clock down to 10. Dribble drive, there's a foul on the floor here.
That's going to be on BP. Unfortunately, when the drive came from Rosenkrantz, BP got his off arm out, his right arm out, but his left arm, his off arm, he kept into his body. And when that made contact, whistle blew.
So Koshnitsky trigger the inbounds here from under his own basket, and he leaves it out right here for Rosenkrantz. Once again, he'll dribble drive with the left hand, stop, jump stop. Rebound pulled down here by Chamernick, and he puts it in. Chamernick just did a good job boxing out, got the rebound, put it back in for two. 4-2, Wesleyan leads, 3 minutes gone by. Here's Raymond working it, dribble left hand, goes outside Johns, thought about the three for a second, trying to post it for Carwell. Here's McCrary, left elbow, Carwell from 18, once again looking, trying to find a post man, uses the screen by McCrary, hands it off for Johns. Johns dribble drive, left hand, goes to the outside, deflected, but Carwell gets it anyway. Shot clock down to 14. Carwell dribble drive, puts it up, off the mark, rebound pulled down there by Koshnitsky. That's his third board already, and here comes Rosenkrantz back with it the other way. Rosenkrantz dumps it into the low post. Double comes from Carwell, finally leaving it off Chamernick, and it's stolen away by Wheaton. They've got a 3-on-2 fast break. Raymond with numbers, stops, pops, puts it in for two. 4-4, knotted up once again.
Good break, smart decision. Really didn't have anyone going to the hole, so he just pulled.
Rosenkrantz leaves it to the outside here for Dwyer. Dwyer leaves it. Good look for Chamernick, and he puts it up and in.
And Chamernick's presenting some problems right now. He's not really their big post because Sexauer fills that role, but he's given us some trouble.
He did it last year as well against the Thunder, going for double figures in each of the matchups. So here comes Raymond going around. Leaves it for McCrary, goes up, got contact, puts it in for two anyway. We're not back up at 6. 15:41 to go here in the opening half of play. Here's Rosenkrantz working it once again. Works around the screen. Met by Panner, and they leave it to the outside. Deep had to leave it for Dwyer, working against Johns. Here's a three ball put up from the corner, and that one is going to be knocked down by Koshnitsky, and he's been really active in the early going. 9-6 now.
As man-to-man defense by Wheaton and a little bit of dribble penetration and then continued it to the other side and then a cross-court pass found the open man.
So they leave it for McCrary. McCrary leaves it for Panner at the right elbow, back outside McCrary. McCrary dribble drive. Leaves it up, trying to do a reverse there, couldn't quite finish it. Rebound pulled down by Sexauer, and here comes Rosenkrantz back with it the other way. Rosenkrantz dribble drive, leaves it. Good look right there for Chamernick, and Wheaton's going to take a timeout. And we've just seen that the last couple trips down the floor. Rosenkrantz gets that deep penetration into the lane, and he just dishes it off for the big man who puts it in for an easy two, and that's why we see 11-6 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, Coach Harris wants Andy Wheely back as soon as possible, and you can tell you lose a preseason All-American, and it's going to do stuff to you. Wheaton trying to find someone in the post early. Only person they could find was Kent Raymond, and then here over on the defensive end, Carwell just a little bit on the drive, left his man wide open underneath.
And for Illinois Wesleyan, they're adjusting a little bit too this season without Darius Gant. They're all-conference forward from last season, averaged nearly 9.5 boards, and you've seen it just here in the early going. Noah Chamernick and Koshnitsky have really stepped up to fill some of that, fill the void for Darius Gant.
And you're going to see Sean Johnson check into the game for Illinois Wesleyan, and the fans will remember him from last year playing here at King Arena. Put Illinois Wesleyan up with a big three and then came over and shushed the crowd. So he is definitely not a fan favorite,
to say the least.
Yeah.
Back to live action here. Here comes Panner. Leaves it for McCrary on the right wing. Raymond trying to set a screen so Panner can come through. Panner takes it at the right wing using a John screen right here. A little bit of screen action from the guards at the top. Here's Carwell looking, backs it off, leaves it for Raymond. Dribble penetration, goes up, trying to use the window. That one's just off target. Rebound pulled down by Koshnitsky once again. And here comes Dwyer into the middle of the floor, leaves it in the middle of the for O'Callahan, who just checked in as well. Dwyer leaves it, good look, and put up and in by Sean Johnson. So Johnson with an early 2 points, checking right in the game and being instant offense for this Titan team. Panner catches it on the right wing, almost lost his dribble for a second there, knocked away. They'll say off of Wheaton, so Wheaton a little bit out of sync in the early going here. Brad Smith will come in, McCreary will check out.
They have not really gotten anything going defensively. This Illinois Wesleyan team doesn't really use any off-ball screens, so you'll see some screens for the person with the ball, but other than that, everyone just kind of stands around and waits for cuts to the basket.
Dwyer leaves it for Koshnitsky here on the left wing. Hughes going around Carwell. They go to the outside here for O'Callahan once again. Johnson coming around the screen, leaves it to the outside. Here's Dwyer, thought about the three for a second, dribble drive, goes to the hole. Johnson thought about the long three, but Panner's right there to greet him and say no, thank you. Leave it for O'Callahan. To the outside, shot clock down to 5 to 4. Dwyer's going to have to put off an balance one, hits his front rim, gets his own rebound, leaves it off, draws contact, and he'll go to the line. And just nothing going Wheaton's way here in the early going.
No, and this feels like an away game. I mean, we got so many Illinois Wesleyan fans over here behind us, which is usually filled by the Wheaton student section. They're on break right now. We got all Illinois Wesleyan people.
And they traveled very well here tonight. And Dwyer will go to the line now for two. And Noah, the more you see Dwyer play, the more he reminds you of Drew Neitzel. With the just looking at him, he looks with a shaved head and not less than tall stature for him out there. About 5'10" is what he's listed at. And I'd be willing to bet that he's not actually that tall.
You know what? He's low to the ground. He's very quick. He's been very smart with the ball so far. And we need to see the Wheaton guards start to realize that maybe you give him the runner in the lane and you kind of lay back and try to take away the pass a little more.
One of the two at the line there for Panner coming back with the other way, and that's blocked away right there by Sexauer. They're going to be deflected away near side of the court. Off of Wesleyan, stays in the possession of Wheaton, so a good defensive sequence by Wheaton to get back there.
That's good hustle by Jake Carwell. Good stuff. Wheaton still trailing here, 14-6.
Panner's going to slow it down and call for motion offense right here. Trying to work it on the outside, dribbles in the middle of the court, the right wing now. Trying to post up Raymond once again, but instead they go to Johns on the outside. Brad Smith not really thinking about threes too much here. Goes to the outside for Panner. Panner looking, trying to find an open man, leaves it for Raymond. Raymond jump stop, puts up a jumper, that's off target. Rebound almost pulled down by Carwell. Instead it's going to be pulled down by O'Callahan, and Wesleyan's going to break the other way.
He walked.
And it's going to be a traveling violation, fortunately for the Thunder, and Wesleyan didn't have Rosenkrantz get all the way back. He was kind of cherry picking on the other end, and Flutter will come in here, replacing Andrew Johns. So first guard off the bench for the Thunder is Jeremy the Jet Flutter, and we need to see Flutter get back to early season form and help spark a comeback here for the Thunder today.
He's very capable of doing so.
Panner dribbling around a screen by Flutter. Panner goes to the hole, puts it up off the window for two. 14-8 now, 12:32 to go here in the opening half. And for Panner, that was just too easy. Rosenkrantz goes to the cup, leaves it to the outside, dumps it off here for Zimmer. He had a big game last time out against Illinois College. Leaves it to the outside, Johnson for three, and he knocks it down. And Johnson was being bothered by a little bit of a sprained ankle. Doesn't look like it's bothering him tonight. He's got 5 quick points. 17-8 now, Wesleyan leads the Thunder. Here's Raymond working into the middle of the court. Leaves it to the outside for Fletterer. Fletterer trying to find a cutter. Goes between the legs and the outside. Goes cross court to Panner. Panner inside Carwell. Goes up and under. Nearly got to go, but he'll go to the foul line for two. That was just a good, strong move under the bucket there, and Wheaton saw the mismatch with Carwell down low, and he's got the foul as a result.
You know, there's a reason that Wheaton shot only 25% from the perimeter the last 3 times these teams played, and it's not only is Wheaton a good perimeter defensive team, but this Illinois Wesleyan team, they're looking mighty impressive right now.
Carwell misses the first end right here. He's going to have another one upcoming. Fletterer back out, and Johns back in, so a cameo appearance thus far for Fletterer, and starting 5, with the exception of Smith, is out there replacing McCreary. Second one is good for Carwell, so the lead is back down to 8 now for the Titans. Here comes Rosenkrantz with it back at the other way. working against Andrew Johns. Leaves it to the outside here for Zimmer. We were mentioning Zimmer had 21 last time out against Illinois College on the 3rd of January for this Titan team. He started off the new year in style. Here's Rosenkrantz working the shot clock once again, down to 12. Dribble drive with the left hand, leaves it down low for O'Callahan, and he puts it up and in for 2. And Wesleyan up by 10 now. Wheaton hasn't really seen this so far this season. Standing at 11-0 with not really too many challenges, and thus far tonight, a big challenge from this Wesleyan team. Here's Panner, dribble, crossover, outside for Johns, shoots a 3. Goes to the top of the backboard and goes in. That's not going to count. They'll say it went out of bounds. And it's unfortunate because the shot still went in.
Yeah, I guess it hit above the backboard. Looks like it hit right at the top of the backboard.
So 19-9, still 11 minutes to go in the opening half. They leave it for Johnson here. Johnson, quick double down from Smith. They go inside O'Callahan, puts it up and in once again, and it's a dozen now for Wesleyan, and an and-one opportunity coming up for O'Callahan. Edmund O'Callahan, a sophomore big man for this Wesleyan team, and all their bigs are doing a fantastic job so far in the early going. And Wheaton just really misses Andy Wheely tonight so far.
Well, it's not hard to do a fantastic job when you get the position that you want. And O'Callahan basically came off that and rolled straight to the basket and got it with both of his feet, and that should be a foul. Ray got killed right there.
Yeah, Raymond tripped as he went to the cup right there and knocked away. They're going to say Wheaton's going to want a timeout here on the floor.
And Coach Harris, you just heard him right there yell, it's inconceivable to the referee. That's because there's a new rule this year in college basketball, and it states it is absolutely inconceivable for a player to fall on the ground without there being a foul call. And Coach Harris is really harping on the officials about that rule.
And you cannot blame him at this point.
And, you know, I think he, in reality, Coach Harris, I don't think he agrees with that call. I don't agree with that call. Player can definitely fall down. There can not be a foul. But that time, Ray just got tripped up by 2 or 3 Illinois Wesleyan players, and there was no whistle. So
it looked like a soccer game out there, Noah, as he tried to dribble.
I thought the soccer season was over.
I thought so too, but guess not. So Raymond will inbound from underneath the basket, leaves it outside for Brad Smith. Smith looks, finds Panner on the right wing. Dribble drive, left hand, goes between the legs, trying to create separation here against Zimmer. Smith in the corner. Thought about it for a second. McCurry from 19 thinking about the three-point jumper. Instead leaves it off. Hands off for Raymond. And there's going to be a foul reach in here against Zimmer.
And he's a pretty big guard himself. Zimmer's 6'5", freshman guard. And this team just keeps bringing in talent in their recruiting classes. You had Sean Johnson last year, and now Zimmer this year. Earlier in the year, Zimmer hit 7 threes in one game, 7 of 9 during that game, and just went off for 21.
Shooting over 57% from downtown for this, or from the field this season, is Jordan Zimmer. They leave it outside here for Brad Smith and thrown in the backcourt. That's going to be a backcourt violation against the Thunder. Fletter will chase it down and make it academic here. And Wheaton just can't get anything going so far. This stifling defense of the Titans.
They need to get something going off the dribble. I'd look for Kent to stop looking to pull from 17 or 18 and look for him to go by his man and create.
Here's Zimmer for 3. Hits the top of the backboard again like Johns. This one didn't go in, but it'll be a turnover to the Thunder. Fletterer will inbound here. And we got a slew of substitutions here coming for Wesleyan. Dwyer going to come back in along with Chamernick and Koshnitsky. And so Zimmer's out, Johnson's out, and O'Callahan is also back out. For Wheaton, Carwell is back in along with McCrary. So we got the starting 5 with the exception of Fletterer for Panner right now. Raymond leaves it to the outside corner here for Johns. Johns swings it to Raymond. Raymond thought about the 3 for a second here. Leaves it to McCrary. Raymond for 3. That's off target. Rebound pulled down here by Dwyer, and he'll move it back the other way. Leading by 13 is Illinois Wesleyan. Dwyer drives to the hole. Leaves it off for Koshnitsky. Going around Raymond. Goes to the hole. Leaner off target. Rebound pulled down by Kent Raymond. Raymond leaves it here for Johns, and Wheaton's going to try to get something off the fast break. Fletterer pulls it back.
Good transition D.
McCurry goes to the bucket. They're going to call, looks like foul on the baseline here against Wesleyan. Against Sexauer, that's his second. Third team foul against the Titans. And McCurry will inbound here from underneath the basket. Trying to find an opening. Can't get Raymond. McCurry finally leaves it for Carwell here, and he's in the right corner, trying to post up with Raymond. Carwell, you know he's thinking about the three, but he didn't take it there. Leaves it instead. Low post for Raymond, knocked away and picked off there by Koshniski, and he's been active today.
Just good job by Chamernick, too, getting his hand in the passing lane.
Here's Dwyer, dribble drive, goes up with the left hand, trying to leave it off. Knocked out of bounds, still Titan basketball. And Panner will come back in. Raymond will take the seat on the bench.
You know, we talked about the last time that Wheaton beat Illinois Wesleyan. Kent had 20 free throws. Wheaton's got to try to get to the line a little bit.
Yeah, so far only the 2 attempts from Carwell for the Thunder. Phil Carr will get some minutes here, replacing McCrary.
Well, you know, nothing's really working down low defensively for Wheaton, so why not give Phil a little bit of a try?
The little Tayshaun Prince, as we like to call him, for his style of play. Doesn't have quite the range of Tayshaun, but a very good defensive player is Phil Carr. They leave it to the outside here for Chamernick. They cut it inside for Rosenkrantz. Leaves it. Koshniski pulls up for 3. That's a brick off target, pulled down by Carwell. And here comes Panner back with the other way. Leaves it for Flederer. Flederer to Johns in the left corner. Trying to find it for Carwell, left wing. Call a bump down low.
And that's going to be on Dwyer.
So 4th team foul here against Wesleyan. That's the first against Dwyer. Flederer will trigger the inbounds here from underneath the hoop. Trying to find someone. They finally do in Panner. Working around the Carwell screen. Panner leaves it for Carwell. Carwell trying to dish it down low. Good cut to the basket. Carr gets the rebound, puts it up and in.
Good
Couple
stuff.
Offensive rebounds there by Phil Carr.
That's why you put the freshman in there. He's there to work down low.
So here comes Rosenkrantz with a dribble drive in between the legs against Flederer. And Carwell comes away with a strip here. Panner saves it in the hands of Chamernick. Knocked out of bounds. They're going to call, looks like they're going to call a foul here on the floor.
Yeah, it's going to be on Phil. Actually, it might be on Johns.
Call it against Johns. That's 4 fouls apiece now. We got another timeout here on the floor, this time for Wesleyan.
And we want to remind you that this broadcast of Wheaton College basketball is sponsored by Dr. Richard Hyde. Dr. Rich believes Jesus gives life and healing to his children. He uses the spinal cord and the brain to do this in the human body. Dr. Rick uses computerized technology as well as chiropractic and physical therapy to achieve the God-given health potential of his patients. Dr. Richard Hyde is on Roosevelt Road in Wheaton. Dr. Richard Hyde at 630-6650-788.
So no, we've got 22-11 right now on the scoreboard. Wheaton trying to go to the post-up game. They haven't seen it work very well tonight. We saw a little bit of what they tried against Taylor with the post-up game from Kent Raymond, but that's not there either. They're going to have to come up with something here to slow down this Wesleyan attack. As they come out of the timeout, Rosenkrantz knocks down the jumper, and now it's 24-11.
You got to get to the hole if you're Wheaton right now. BP's handling the ball. Whoever's going to be handling the ball, you need to get to the hole.
Carr leaves it right outside for Flederer. Flederer dribble drive to the hole, picks up his dribble, leaves it off. Trying to put an off-balance J in there was Panner. And sweep rebound pulled down. Panner gets the offensive board. Carr gets another offensive one himself. Leaves it there for Panner. And he puts it up and in for 2. And that's what Wheaton is going to have to do to get back in this game. Stay aggressive on the offensive glass. And eventually those shots will come.
And you finally saw the initial guard penetration by Flederer from the right wing.
Flederer's called the Jet by us for a reason. He's got that good speed getting to the hole. What a great first step by Flederer. Dwyer goes to the outside here. Knocked away, picked up by Carwell. And here comes Johns back with it the other way. Johns working a 4-on-3 fast break, leaves it for Panner. Panner thought about it for a second, steps back, jumper, good for Panner once again.
And that's just miscommunication on the Illinois Wesleyan defense. Rosenkrantz stepped off. He thought he was supposed to go with the runner.
So Rosenkrantz can be working against Flederer here, trying to get a screen here from Chamernick. Leaves it to the outside here for Dwyer. Picked up by Johns. Good ball pressure once again by the Thunder. They leave it in the low post. That's up and off the window, and too easy once again for Edmund O'Callahan, who's having a big first half of play here.
The battle for position has to take place before the ball gets there. Phil Carr has got to know that he's got to get O'Callahan out before he receives the ball.
26-15, 6:42 to go here in the opening half. Panner steps into another jumper here off the feed from Carr. That's off target. Rebound pulled down by O'Callahan. And here comes Dwyer back the other way. Leaves it for Rosenkrantz. Dribble drive between the legs. Leaves it off to the outside here for Koshnitsky. Koshnitsky dribbled to the hole. Knocked away there. And out of bounds. Carwell had good position in the low post there once again. McCurry back in along with Raymond. Johns and Carr will take a seat on the bench. For Carr, those were good minutes.
Very good minutes. You like what you saw from the freshman. He got some good time at Grinnell, too.
Trying to get the inbounds here underneath their own basket. They finally do. They get out for Chamernick. Knocked away by Raymond. It'll stay here for Wesleyan. The inbound from the far side of the court right here. Wesleyan working left to right across the radio dial once again. Sean Johnson, who just checked back in, leaves it right here for Dwyer. Working against Raymond. They go to the outside here. Once again for Rosenkrantz. Flederer staying right with him. Trying to dribble, using a little bit too much ball right there. Johnson drives to the hole. Knocked away. Shot clock down to 2, and that'll be out of bounds, so doesn't matter. It's Wheaton basketball, trailing by 11.
Yeah, it looks like Wheaton's going to double-team Johnson when he puts it on the floor, and that was a good decision as he ran right into a wall and had no idea what to do.
Here comes Raymond bringing it into the front court off the handoff from Panner, and they're going to try to use some shot clock here, get a good shot at the basket. Here's Panner, swings it through, goes to the outside here for Flederer. Flederer gets a double. Panner thought about it for a second. He had the shot from about 15, but instead gave it back up. Goes to McCurry. McCurry outside for Panner. Shot clock down to 7 to 6. Raymond turns, falls, fires, fades, trying to use the window. Couldn't quite do it, but he'll have 2 free throws at the line. And that's the man you want with the ball in his hands and the shot clock winding down, but not the best shot for the Thunder. Raymond fortunately got bailed out by getting the contact there against the Wesleyan defender.
Well, that was the first time he touched the ball the whole possession. I mean, the first time Kent touched the ball was with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, so he made the most of his opportunity and drew some good contact from Dwyer, which is huge. Dwyer, I think, is their best on-ball defender, and he goes out with 2 fouls now.
And Zimmer checks back in for him. Raymond makes the first. He'll have the second one upcoming here. Drills that one as well. Lead back down to 9. 27-16, 5.5 to go here in the opening half of play. Wheaton against Illinois Wesleyan. Flederer guarding on the ball here against Rosenkrantz. Dribble drive between the legs, trying to work around the screen right here by Koshnitsky. He'll go to the hole. Rosenkrantz got separation, put it up and off the window for 2, and Wesleyan's been doing a great job of that from their guards, from their bigs, using the window, putting it in.
Yeah, you can't bite when he crosses over to his right hand because he's only going to use it to cross back over to his left.
So here comes Raymond, goes to the outside, leaves it for Panner at the top of the circle. Panner looking, trying to find open Flederer. He finally does here in the left corner. Outside Raymond from about 18, knocks it down for 2, and Kent Raymond starting to catch fire here for the Thunder. 28-19, 4:44 to go here in the opening half. Here's Rosenkrantz working against Flederer once again. Leaves it right here to the outside for Chamernick. Chamernick trying to find a cutter, working against Carwell. Leaves it to the outside for Sean Johnson, matched up against Panners. Panners staying right with him.
He walked
with it.
BP's got so much size on Johnson.
Yeah, about a 3-inch difference between Johnson and Panner out there on the floor, and Ben Panner's got real long arms too, so that's a good matchup for Wheaton right now. They might want to start exploiting on the offensive end as well if they can get that, although Zimmer matched up against Panner right now on the offensive end.
And Johns checked in for Flederer.
Johns gives it to Raymond. Raymond, nice feed inside for Carwell. Had knocked away temporarily. Gathers, puts it up and in, and good for 2. The lead down to 7. 28-21 right now.
Finally getting the ball underneath the basket.
Here's Rosenkrantz dribbling with it, steps into a 3-pointer. That's off target. Rebound pulled down by McCreary, and Wheaton's got 2-on-2 fast break with Panner. Panner thought about it for a second, instead he'll pull it back out, gives it to Raymond. Raymond steps into a 3, and he's catching fire. K-Ray for 3. He got it. 28-24.
Jordan Zimmer wanted to be careful of Kent off the drive, but you know what? You've got help off the drive. Kent put it on the floor, and in the same motion, pulled it back. And you say step into a three, but that was really a step back into a three. And Kent buried it.
And Kent Raymond catching fire now. Knocks down the three there and starting to catch a rhythm, knowing this is dangerous if you're Illinois Wesleyan.
It's very dangerous, but Illinois Wesleyan has to do the same thing that they've been doing, which is basically have good someone who's can handle the ball well up top, and usually that's been Dwyer, but he's been out, so Rosenkrantz. And the big thing right now is Sean Johnson, aside from that three that he had in the backdoor look that Dwyer caught him on, he's been pretty stagnant on the offensive end.
And you know, with a player like Johnson having the hurt ankle, you want to attack that as much as possible if you're Wheaton too. We haven't seen much of that so far, but Raymond getting hot. And right now you don't want to try anything different. As long as Raymond's going hot, you'll roll with it for a little while.
And you want to continue getting the ball to the hole too. You don't want to start settling for jumpers just because you hit one now.
So here's Rosenkrantz working against Johns, who just checked back in. Leaves it to the outside here. Here's Zimmer for three. That's off target. Rebound pulled down here by Andrew John. He'll run it back the other way. Johns across center court, leaves it for BP. Panner leaves it for Carwell. Carwell, nice inside look. Raymond puts it up and in for two again. They went hard to the hole. The lead is down to two. 3 minutes and change to go here in the first half. Here is Rosenkrantz working with it. Leaves it to the outside here for Johnson. Matched up against Panner once again. Panner sticking right with him. Johnson goes up. Knocked away by Carwell. Knocked away again, but they're going to call. Wheaton wants to travel. They're going to call a foul, though, against the Thunder.
I don't know how that can be on Jake. He got all ball. Those orange shoes, baby.
He's got a little more lift on his lift today with those shoes. And if you look out there on the court with the rest of the Wheaton players, most of them have a little bit of white and some blue. Carwell has a pair of mostly orange shoes, a little bit of white on there as well. And they are regulation.
Oh, I like them. It looks like he's wearing socks with traction on them.
Indeed he is, Noah. Traction. And is this net regulation size or what is just what Mr. Chamernick asks. As his first one goes in and out. He's got another one upcoming, and he knocks that one down. So 1 out, 2 at the line. The lead back up to 3 here for Wesleyan. Low-scoring affair here in the first half, 29-26. Here comes Panner, across the timeline, trying to work it to the outside here for Kent Raymond. Raymond dribble between the legs, working against Koshnitsky. Raymond goes off target. They're going to call a foul down low here against Wesleyan. They're pretty upset about it.
Should be on Chamernick.
So that will be the 6th-team foul here against Illinois Wesleyan. We'll be talking about free throws with the next one against the Titans.
It was a good job by Brad Smith going up for the board. You never know if you can get it or not. That time he couldn't, but still maybe an invisible foul call on Chamernick.
They leave it inside for Smith. He goes up to the hole, and he is fouled on his way up. There'll be 2 free throws upcoming for Brad Smith.
And that time there was a foul.
The Wesleyan crowd not very happy about it. And you can hear them voice their displeasure here. As we've got 2:39 to go now in the opening half. Brad Smith to the line for a couple.
70% shooter on the season.
Pounds the rock, puts it up, puts it in. Another one upcoming here for Mr. Smith.
And what was an 11-point lead can be cut to 1.
That one is off target. Rebound pulled down here by Chamernick. Leaves it for Rosenkrantz, so it's still 2 right now. 29-27. Wesleyan going to work some clock once again as O'Callahan just checked back in. Driving to the hole, Rosenkrantz spins down the baseline, met by Johns, and Johns steals it away from him. He had nowhere to go, and Andrew Johns working it. Leaves it for McCurry. He dribbled it off his shoe, out of bounds. McCurry got a little bit excited as looked like he had more open court than he did, and he just kicked it off his foot out of bounds.
It's a great job by Johns on the other end. It looked like Rosenkrantz was going to try to throw it off him and out of bounds, and Johns just caught it.
And they're going to whistle Johns for another foul here as he was wrestling for position on that inbounds, and he'll check out, and Fletter will come back in.
I don't know if I agree with that. That's just both players going equally hard after one another.
So Fletter will match up on the ball here against Rosenkrantz. To the outside, leaves it here for Johnson. Steps into a 3. That's off target. Rebound pulled down here by Fletter. 2 minutes now to go here in the opening half. Leaves it for Raymond. Raymond thought about the three once again. He's feeling it, steps into another one, and Kent Raymond ties the game at 29. Kent Raymond has put this team on his back here in the opening half, and it was 11, is now gone. Knotted at 29. Here's Rosenkrantz working around the screen there by O'Callahan. Puts up an off-mark rebound pulled down one-handed by Tim McCrary. Flutter leaves it here for Raymond once again. Raymond dribble drive between the legs, spins, goes, leaves it off for Brad Smith. Stripped away and off of his leg, out of bounds, Titan basketball.
That was a good job by Johnson getting a hand on that Smith. If you get down under the basket, you want to keep the ball at least up by your chest where you can control it. He brought that down by his knees, and it swatted away.
So here's Rosenkrantz with it, knotted at 29, working against Jeremy Flutter. Trying to work around the screen right there by Chamernick. Flutter stays right with him. Trying to leave it to the outside here. Here's Kosznitsky. Thought about the three, but he's way behind the three-point stripe. Dribble drive with the left hand. Goes up, off target, gets the own rebound, goes to Chamernick. And they'll call him for steps as he caught it. And he's not very happy about that call. But the Wheaton faithful, they're pretty pleased with it.
Yeah, you know, the referee should be pleased with it too, because that was the correct call.
And here comes Panner. We're under a minute to go now. In the opening half, still tied at 29. Trying to work it here against Rosenkrantz. Leaves it here for Fletterer. Fletterer swings the ball through, trying to find an opening. He finally does. Kent Raymond steps into it. That was partially blocked away on the outside. So good on the ball defense right there. And here's Rosenkrantz with it, coming back the other way. Fletterer stays with me, drives down to the paint, and he'll back it out. Shot clock at 22. About a 6-second difference here, shot clock to game clock.
He drives to his left all the time.
Here's Sean Johnson with it, driving to the hole. Met by McCrary, and they go to the outside here. Three ball put up. That's off target from Rosenkrantz. They're going to call a foul down low here.
That should be on O'Callahan.
They're calling against Kosznitsky instead. So there's 13 seconds here for Wheaton.
This will send Ray to the line.
Bringing it back to the line which he loves so much, and he makes the free throws. He puts the free in free throws because he does what he's supposed to do with them. Raymond pounds it, sets, fires, puts it in again. Wheaton's first lead here now, 30-29.
You're going to see Phil Card check back in for the last 14 seconds or so. Defensive substitution, you could say.
Although
offense, defense.
Panner's a very good defensive player in his own right.
Oh, absolutely.
But just a little more size, you could say, with Phil Carr in this defensive substitution. Raymond misses the second one here, pulled down by O'Callahan. So Wheaton by the slimmest of margins here as Rosenkrantz working against Jeremy Flutter. Met by McCrary. Johnson trying to go around Kent Raymond. Off-target rebound blocked away by K-Ray, and that's how the first half will end. McCrary throws it at the bucket, but that was too late anyway. Wouldn't have counted, and Wheaton goes to halftime, leading by one. And what a spirited comeback we had here, Noah. Down by 11 and 12, outscoring Wesleyan by 12 from that point. Pretty good stuff.
You got to appreciate the effort that the Thunder put forth once it looked like they were completely outmatched even. Can the number one team in the nation be outmatched? It looked like they were. First 5-10 minutes of the game, you had 6'5" coming off the bench, Jordan Zimmer. He looks like an all-star defensively. And on the offensive end, Dwyer was doing everything he wanted. And then as soon as Dwyer picked up his second foul, the Wheaton guards finally had a little bit of space to work with, Kent Raymond in particular, on the offensive end. That allowed us to get to the hole. That allowed our bigs to get better position and allowed us to take a 1-point lead at halftime.
And for Wheaton, Raymond leading the show here, getting us back into it. But Noah, before we go back into that, why don't you tell us a little about this broadcast that we have today?
Sure thing. This broadcast of Wheaton College basketball is sponsored by Dr. Richard Hyde. Dr. Rick believes Jesus gives life and healing to his children. He uses the spinal cord and the brain to do this in the human body. Dr. Rick uses computerized technology as well as chiropractic and physical therapy to achieve the God-given health potential of his patients. Dr. Richard Hyde is on Roosevelt Road in Wheaton. You can reach him at 630-6650-788.
So we'll be back with you in a little bit to discuss more of these first half statistics. But for right now, Noah, let's go ahead and kick it to Zach Bowler in the studio.
All right, thanks, guys. A little bit of a slow start for Wheaton in that first half as they trailed by as many as 11 to Illinois Wesleyan, undoubtedly hindered a bit by the fact that they are playing essentially a road game on their own home court. The Illinois Wesleyan faithful traveling well as Wheaton students obviously still on Christmas break. Mellow Motors in Carroll Stream is a sponsor of today's halftime show on Wheaton College Radio. Mellow Motors services domestic and import autos, specializing in European and Asian models. They also provide used car appraisals and extended warranty work. Mellow Motors at 630-668-2051 or 293-3656. Kent Raymond catches fire near the end of the first half. Wheaton leads Illinois Wesleyan by 1, 30-29. We're talking more basketball when we come back right after this.
Wherever you go, you can always listen to what's playing on Wheaton College Radio. Tune in to our website at wetn.org. In the archives, you'll find over 10 years of chapel messages, special events, and interviews. Browse our music charts or find out what's happening in DuPage County on the community calendar. Don't forget Wheaton College sports and concerts are carried live on wetn.org. Even if your radio is far away, wetn.org is always streaming live content. Join Wheaton College Radio online at wetn.org.
We're all looking for things.
For Flederer. Flederer dribble drive to the hold, picks up his dribble, leaves it off. Trying to put an off-balance J in there was Panner. And sweep rebound pulled down. Panner gets the offensive board. Carr gets another offensive one himself. Leaves it there for Panner. And he puts it up and in for two. And that's what Wheaton is going to have to do to get back in this game. Stay aggressive on the offensive glass. And eventually those shots will come.
And you finally saw the initial guard penetration by Flederer from the right wing.
Flederer is called the Jet by us for a reason. He's got that good speed getting to the hole. What a great first step by Flederer. Dwyer goes to the outside here. Knocked away, picked up by Carwell. And here comes Johns back with it the other way. Johns working at 4-on-3, fast break, leaves it for Panner. Panner thought about it for a second, steps back, jumper, good for Panner once again.
And that's just miscommunication on the Illinois Wesleyan defense. Rosenkrantz stepped off. He thought he was supposed to go with the runner.
So Rosenkrantz can be working against Flederer here, trying to get a screen here from Chamernick. Leaves it to the outside here for Dwyer. Picked up by Johns. Good ball pressure once again by the Thunder. And they leave it in the low post. That's up and off the window. And too easy once again for Edmund O'Callahan, who's having a big first half of play here.
The battle for position has to take place before the ball gets there. Phil Carr has got to know that he's got to get O'Callahan out before he receives the ball.
26-15, 6:42 to go here in the opening half. Panner steps into another jumper here off the feed from Carr. That's off target. Rebound pulled down by O'Callahan. And here comes Dwyer back the other way. Leaves it for Rosenkrantz. Dribble drive between the legs. Leaves it off to the outside here for Koshnitsky. Koshnitsky dribbled to the hole. Knocked away there. And out of bounds. Carwell had good position in the low post there once again. McCurry back in along with Raymond. Johns and Carr will take a seat on the bench. For Carr, those were good minutes.
Very good minutes. You like what you saw from the freshman. He got some good time at Grinnell, too.
Trying to get the inbounds here underneath their own basket. They finally do. They get out for Chamernick. Knocked away by Raymond. It'll stay here for Wesleyan. Inbound from the far side of the court right here. Wesleyan working left to right across the radio dial once again. Sean Johnson, who just checked back in, leaves it right here for Dwyer. Working against Raymond. They go to the outside here. Once again for Rosenkrantz. Flederer staying right with him. Trying to dribble, using a little bit too much ball right there. Johnson drives to the hole. Knocked away. Shot clock down to 2, and that'll be out of bounds, so doesn't matter. It's Wheaton basketball, trailing by 11.
Yeah, it looks like Wheaton's going to double team Johnson when he puts it on the floor. And that was a good decision as he ran right into a wall and had no idea what to do.
Here comes Raymond bringing it into the front court off the handoff from Panner. and they're going to try to use some shot clock here, get a good shot at the basket. Here's Panner, swings it through, goes to the outside here for Flederer. Flederer gets a double. Panner thought about it for a second. He had the shot from about 15, but instead gave it back up. Goes to McCreary. McCreary outside for Panner. Shot clock down to 7 to 6. Raymond turns, falls, fires, fades, trying to use the window. Couldn't quite do it, but he'll have 2 free throws at the line. And that's the man you want with the ball in his hands and the shot clock winding down, but not the best shot for the Thunder. Raymond fortunately got bailed out by getting the contact there against the Wesleyan defender.
Well, that was the first time he touched the ball the whole possession. I mean, the first time Kent touched the ball was with 4 seconds left on the shot clock, so he made the most of his opportunity and drew some good contact from Dwyer, which is huge. Dwyer, I think, is their best on-ball defender, and he goes out with 2 fouls now.
And Zimmer checks back in for him. Raymond makes the first. He'll have the second one upcoming here. Drills that one as well. Lead back down to 9. 27-16, 5.5 to go here in the opening half of play. Wheaton against Illinois Wesleyan. Flederer guarding on the ball here against Rosencrantz. Dribble drive between the legs, trying to work around the screen right here by Koshnitsky. He'll go to the hole. Rosencrantz got separation, put it up and off the window for 2, and Wesleyan's been doing a great job of that from their guards, from their bigs, using the window, putting it in.
You can't bite when he crosses over to his right hand because he's only going to use it to cross back over to his left.
So here comes Raymond, goes to the outside, leaves it for Panner at the top of the circle. Panner looking, trying to find an open Flederer. He finally does here in the left corner. Outside Raymond from about 18, knocks it down for 2, and Kent Raymond starting to catch fire here for the Thunder. 28-19, 4:44 to go here in the opening half. Here's Rosencrantz working against Flederer once again. Leaves it right here to the outside for Chamernick. Chamernick trying to find a cutter, working against Carwell. Leaves it to the outside for Sean Johnson, matched up against Panners. Panners staying right with him.
He walked
with it.
BP's got so much size on Johnson.
Yeah, about a 3-inch difference between Johnson and Panner out there on the floor, and Ben Panner's got real long arms too, so that's a good matchup for Wheaton right now. They might want to start exploiting on the offensive end as well if they can get that, although Zimmer matched up against Panner right now on the offensive end.
And Johns checked in for Flederer.
Johns gives it to Raymond. Raymond, nice feed inside for Carwell, had knocked away temporarily, gathers, puts it up and in, and good for 2. The lead down to 7, 28-21 right now.
Finally getting the ball underneath the basket.
Here's Rosencrantz dribbling with it, steps into a 3-pointer. That's off target, rebound pulled down by McCreary, and Wheaton's got 2-on-2 fast break with Panner. Panner thought about it for a second, said he'll pull it back out, gives it to Raymond. Raymond steps into a 3, and he's catching fire. K-Ray for 3, he got it. 28-24.
Jordan Zimmer wanted to be careful of Kent off the drive, but you know what? You've got help off the drive. Kent put it on the floor, and in the same motion, pulled it back. And you say step into a 3, but that was really a step back into a 3, and Kent buried it.
And Kent Raymond catching fire now. Knocks down the 3 there and starting to catch a rhythm, knowing this is dangerous if you're Illinois Wesleyan.
It's very dangerous, but Illinois Wesleyan has to do the same thing that they've been doing, which is basically have good someone who's can handle the ball well up top, and usually that's been Dwyer, but he's been out, so Rosencrantz. And the big thing right now is Sean Johnson, aside from that 3 that he had in the backdoor look that Dwyer caught him on, he's been pretty stagnant on the offensive end.
And you know, with a player like Johnson having the hurt ankle, you want to attack that as much as possible if you're Wheaton too. We haven't seen much of that so far, but Raymond getting hot, and right now you don't want to try anything different. As long as Raymond's going hot, you'll roll with it for a little while.
Well, you want to continue getting the ball to the hole too. You don't want to start settling for jumpers just because you hit one now.
So here's Rosencrantz working against Johns, who just checked back in. Leaves it to the outside here. Here's Zimmer for 3. That's off target. Rebound pulled down here by Andrew John. He'll run it back the other way. Johns across center court, leaves it for BP. Panner leaves it for Carwell. Carwell, nice inside look. Raymond puts it up and in for 2 again. They went hard to the hole. The lead is down to 2. 3 minutes and change to go here in the first half. Here is Rosencrantz working with it. Leaves it to the outside here for Johnson. Matched up against Panner once again. Panner sticking right with him. Johnson goes up. Knocked away by Carwell. Knocked away again, but they're going to call. Wheaton wants to travel. They're going to call a foul, though, against the Thunder.
I don't know how that can be on Jake. He got all ball. Those orange shoes, baby.
He's got a little more lift on his lift today with those shoes. And if you look out there on the court with the rest of the Wheaton players, most of them have a little bit of white and some blue. Carwell has a pair of mostly orange shoes, a little bit of white on there as well. And they are regulation.
Oh, I like them. It looks like he's wearing socks with traction on them.
Indeed he is, Noah. Traction. And is this net regulation size or what is just what Mr. Chamernick asks as his first one goes in and out. He's got another one upcoming, and he knocks that one down. So 1 out, 2 at the line. The lead back up to 3 here for Wesleyan. Low-scoring affair here in the first half, 29-26. Here comes Panner across the timeline, trying to work it to the outside here for Kent Raymond. Raymond dribble between the legs, working against Koshnitsky. Raymond goes off target. They're going to call a foul down low here against Wesleyan. They're pretty upset about it.
Should be on Chamernick.
So that will be the 16th foul here against Illinois Wesleyan. We'll be talking about free throws with the next one against the Titans.
It was a good job by Brad Smith going up for the board. You never know if you can get it or not. That time he couldn't, but still maybe an invisible foul call on Chamernick.
They leave it inside for Smith. He goes up the hole, and he is fouled on his way up. There'll be 2 free throws upcoming for Brad Smith.
And that time there was a foul.
The Wesleyan crowd not very happy about it. And you can hear them voice their displeasure here as we've got 2:39 to go now in the opening half. Brad Smith to the line for a couple.
70% shooter on the season.
Pounds the rock, puts it up, puts it in. Another one upcoming here for Mr. Smith.
And what was an 11-point lead can be cut to 1.
That one is off target. Rebound pulled down here by Chamernick. Leaves it for Rosenkrantz, so it's still 2 right now. 29-27. Wesleyan going to work some clock once again as O'Callahan just checked back in. Driving to the hole, Rosenkrantz spins down the baseline, met by Johns, and Johns steals it away from him. He had nowhere to go, and Andrew Johns working it. Leaves it for McCurry. He dribbled it off his shoe, out of bounds. McCurry got a little bit excited as looked like he had more open court than he did, and he just kicked it off his foot out of bounds.
It's a great job by Johns on the other end. It looked like Rosenkrantz was going to try to throw it off him and out of bounds, and Johns just caught it.
And they're going to whistle Johns for another foul here as he was wrestling for position on that inbounds, and he'll check out, and Fletcher will come back in.
I don't know if I agree with that. That's just both players going equally hard after one another.
So Fletcher will match up on the ball here against Rosenkrantz. To the outside, leaves it here for Johnson. Steps into a 3. That's off target. Rebound pulled down here by Fletcher. 2 minutes now to go here in the opening half. Leaves it for Raymond. Raymond thought about the 3 once again. He's feeling it. Steps into another one. And Kent Raymond ties the game at 29. Kent Raymond has put this team on his back here in the opening half, and it was 11 is now gone. Knotted at 29. Here's Rosenkrantz working around the screen there by O'Callahan. Puts up an off-mark. Rebound pulled down one-handed by Tim McCrary. Fletcher leaves it here for Raymond once again. Raymond dribble drive between the legs, spins, goes, leaves it off for Brad Smith. Stripped away and off of his leg, out of bounds. Titan basketball.
That was a good job by Johnson getting a hand on that. Smith, if you get down under the basket, you want to keep the ball at least up by your chest where you can control it. He brought that down by his knees, and it swatted away.
So here's Rosenkrantz with it, knotted at 29, working against Jeremy Fletcher. Trying to work around the screen right there by Chamernick. Fletcher stays right with him. Trying to leave it to the outside here. Here's Koshnitsky. Thought about the 3, but he's way behind the 3-point stripe. Dribble drive with the left hand. Goes up, off target. Gets the own rebound, goes to Chamernick. And they'll call him for
penetration and find the big man inside. Good job tying it up.
So here comes Panner back with it. Wheaton leading by 1 here over Illinois Wesleyan. Opening minutes of the second half of play here. Inside McCurry. Turns, faces at the basket. Looks, dribble drive, spins, trying to go up and under with it. And McCurry leaves it just short, tapped out there by Carwell to Johns. Carwell's got it at the left wing right now. Looking, trying to find an opening, gives it to McCurry. McCurry outside here for Raymond, steps into a 3. K-Ray off the target right there, pulled down by Sexauer, and here comes Rosenkrantz back with it the other way. Rosenkrantz, dribble drive, left hand, goes up, left hand.
No good.
Johns there took the foul, and Rosenkrantz is still down on the floor right there.
Johns always does a tremendous job of getting in position to take a charge. I remember his coach in high school, I believe, kept track of charges that were taken by each player. And it was always an aspiration of Andrew Johns to be right at the top of that list.
And there's a difference between taking a foul, taking a charge, and flopping too. And Andrew Johns, when he's out on the basketball court, takes the charge.
Yeah, he does not back away from it at all. He gets the best possible angle and takes the full brunt of it.
So the turnover here for Wesleyan, back to Wheaton. Sean Johnson back in, replacing Rosenkrantz. So it's Rosenkrantz in the backcourt along with Sean Johnson. Chamernick, Koshnitsky, and Sexauer for Wesleyan. The starting five back on the floor for Wheaton. Johns, Carwell, Panner, Raymond, and McCrary. McCrary trying to find an opening here. He's on the right wing, leaves it for Panner. Step back dribble, trying to find inside for Kent Raymond. They're going to call an offensive foul here. I believe it's against Raymond.
Yeah, they're going to call that on him, and I'm not sure about that. They called him for his off arm, batting Dwyer away from being able to defend the pass to the block, and Kent was very unhappy with that foul. Might have almost gotten a technical, actually.
Yeah, Raymond with quite a height advantage over Dwyer, 6'3" to 5'10". So obviously a little bit of surprise that Dwyer was able to stay with him. Battle for it underneath. Third try put up by Sexauer and in. So it's 31-30. Wesleyan gets the lead as we seesaw back and forth here. Raymond leaves it to the outside there for McCrary. Carwell in the low post, spins, dribble, puts it up with the left hand, scoops it up and in for two. 32-31 now.
Great touch. I mean, that light of foot, light of hand, too.
Off of Johnson's foot, stolen to the ground. Carwell picks it up. Here comes Johns. Johns leaves it for Raymond.
Oh, my goodness.
Court. That was your Ron Santo call of the day, Noah.
Gotta have one of them every once in a while.
As Raymond puts it in for two, the lead up to three now. Here comes Dwyer. Aces the outside for Chamernick. Chamernick trying to find a back cutter. Carwell stays right with him. Leave it the outside for Sexauer. Sexauer for Johnson. Low post. Chamernick spins. Too deep under the basket that time.
Yeah, that foul's going to be on Illinois Wesleyan, pushing off as McCrary went up for the board. That should be on Sexauer. That's his third.
That's a big foul against Sexauer. Very ineffective in the first half, and he'll be even less effective if he's got to come out of the game right here. And he will. O'Callahan will check back in for him.
You know, O'Callahan got some pretty good minutes. He finished with playing just over half the first half. He had 7 points and 4 boards, so you almost pick your poison right now the way O'Callahan's playing.
You almost want Sexauer to stay in the game despite the success that he's had this season. They go to the outside here for Panner on the right wing. Leave it for Johns. Dribble handoff, goes to Panner. Johns in the corner. Step dribble, goes inside. Good look here. Phil Carr, who just checked in, and he's got the three-point play. So Phil Carr, who had 2 points in the first half, now has got 4 and a possibility for 5.
We do a lot of this perimeter ball rotation, and actually Johns and Panner handing it off a little bit over here on the right side, and Johns finally put it on the floor, and Carr came in from the left pocket and went back door.
So Carr converts the three-point play. The lead for Wheaton is up to 6 now, 37-31. Illinois Wesleyan scored the first bucket here of the second half. None since. 16:40 to go here in the second half. Johnson ahead on the outside. Leaves it here for Chamernick in the low post, unable to finish it. Actually does put it in for 2. I beg your pardon. It's okay, no, I'm feeling all right. Here's Panner. We get past it. We all do these things sometimes. Raymond spins in the low post, leaves it for Carr, and Phil Carr back-to-back buckets off the window.
And that time he came in from the right pocket instead of the left side.
So mirror image of that layup from the other one. Off-target rebound pulled down here by Johns. They're going to move it with speed the other way. Wheaton did a good job in transition the first half. Raymond thought about it for a second from 25, but pulled it back down. Spins to the bucket, goes off bounds, puts it in for 2. 41-33 now. Wheaton with the lead.
Dwyer just looks like he doesn't even want to be on the same basketball court as Kent Raymond.
Kent Raymond, who came in averaging 23 points per game on the season, 16 at halftime, and a couple more here in the second half. 41-33, 15:50 to go in the second half, and Wheaton starting to pull away.
And Wheaton not settling for jumpers like they did early where they were struggling. Actually kind of took them late in the shot clock, too. First half, a lot of ball reversal and not much of anything towards the lane at all. And here you see Johns coming in from the right side. You saw Panner with it just a second ago. Raymond now putting it on the floor, coming right up, straight up the gut of the defense, basically. And that is where Wheaton is finding the great majority of their success. Not in their jump shooting, but in getting the ball into the lane and having opportunities be created from there.
And you saw Dwyer do such a good job in the first half against Kent Raymond when he was in there. And once Dwyer checked out, Raymond went off. It seems now that we've come to the second half, Raymond missed his first three-pointer. But other than that, he doesn't care who's defending him at this point. He can take whoever Wesleyan throws at him because it's been that kind of shooting night for him so far.
When a player gets in the zone, as you like to call it, it does not matter who they put on you defensively. Dwyer does a great job of on-ball defense and also denial. So the great thing he did in the first half mainly was keep the ball out of Ray's hands.
So Rosencrantz comes back in, replacing Johnson in the lineup. Dribble drive by Koshnitsky, leaves it to the outside for Chamernick, rolls to the bucket, and they got a one-on-one matchup here for Dwyer on the outside. Dwyer dribble drive left hand, leaves it to the low post here for O'Callahan, knocked away by Carwell, and they're going to call a foul on the floor here against the Thunder.
And that the baseline official actually called that foul, and usually that's a call of one of the officials more towards half court. Nonetheless,
that's Carwell's third foul, so he will have to check out now. Here comes Dwyer with it. Leaves it the outside for Koshnitsky. Thought about the three for a second here. He's on the left wing. Sexauer.
It's going to have opportunity for a three-point play.
Looked like Phil Carr had good position on the low block, but they'll say not set enough on the block, and Sexauer puts in for two.
What he did there on Sexauer was he leaned in just a little bit, and his hands weren't up. So it's going to help you to take a charge if your hands are up and you're not leaning into the player.
Sexauer will dribble, left-handed release, puts it through. 41-36 now. Wheaton leads by 5. Here comes Andrew Johns with it, crossing the timeline, matched up against Rosencrantz. Leaves it to the outside for Raymond. Raymond leaves it for BP. Raymond steps into a three, just off the target. Rebound pulled down by Sexauer, and Rosencrantz will move it back with some speed the other way. Double comes, looking from Panner. They'll leave it off here for Dwyer. Drop to the floor by Rosencrantz, trying to find an opening. Finally does, and that's Sexauer. McCreary right with him, blocked away by Tim McCreary. And that is just going to roll its way into the bucket. 4-2, 41-38 now. That Wheaton lead, which was up to 8, now down to 3.
You got to get back to the hole. You cannot keep settling for jumpers.
Panner trying to leave it for McCreary, and Raymond, a little bit of confusion there on the floor, but didn't know who that was going for, and it's a turnover for the Thunder.
Yeah, it's a tough pass because BP wanted to skip that one in there, which was a good idea, but the ball bounced basically at the baseline. Hard to hang on to.
So Carr is out, and Brad Smith is back in for the Thunder. Here's Rosencrantz trying to dribble around the way. Leaves it to the outside for Koshnitsky. Steps into a 17-foot jumper. Off the back iron, rebound pulled down by Brad Smith. Here comes Panner with it. He got fouled. Rosencrantz had his hand in the cookie jar, trying to poke it away from BP there, and that will be a foul against him.
Yeah, if the cookie jar is Ben Panner's right leg, then you are right on the money. I mean, BP was stumbling down the floor because, and you know, that was incidental. I don't think Rosencrantz meant for that to happen, but it's just a tough foul call for Illinois Wesleyan.
Johns will inbound to Raymond. Raymond crossover dribble, working against Dwyer. Got a nice height advantage there. Leaves it for Panner. Left wing. Trying to find Johns. Left to right here. Working are the Thunder. Outside McCreary on the left wing. Brad Smith. Here's Johns in the corner. Trying to post up Raymond. Instead they go to Panner. In and out. Rebound pulled down by Sexauer. And here comes Wesleyan back the other way once again. Trying to cut into that lead for the tie here. Off target. Rebound pulled down by Wesleyan and foul against the Thunder.
Yeah, that was pulled down by Sexauer, and it looks like that foul is going to be on McCrary.
And it is a foul against Tim McCrary, his first personal. Just about 7 minutes gone by in the second half of play. Zimmer, who just checked back in, leaves it to the outside for Rosenkrantz. Zimmer, Dwyer in the middle of the floor. Zimmer on the left wing. Leaves it inside for O'Callahan. Stepped on the baseline. And they made O'Callahan work a little bit too hard for his bucket. Lost track of where he was. Stepped on the baseline there.
What impresses me on that is Smith's defense was tremendous, but also McCrary coming over from the weak side, the help defense down low, was there if O'Callahan was not out of bounds.
Panner for Raymond. Steps into a jumper off balance. That's off target. Pulled down by O'Callahan. Dwyer leaves it for Rosenkrantz. Stripped away by Flederer, but they're going to call a foul against Jeremy Flederer.
That's almost an anticipation call.
Did not expect Flederer to get back that quickly and knock the basketball away from Rosenkrantz. Like you said, Noah, that's an anticipation call, and the officials did not get a full look at it. If they would have watched that play all the way through, they might have seen a clean strip by Flederer.
And Rosenkrantz misses the first free throw, so maybe a little bit of justice done there.
Poetic justice, if you will.
I'll call it poetic justice if he misses the second one.
So take a deep breath, admire it for a second, and he knocks down one out of two.
That is not poetic justice.
Not all the way. Somewhat. Panner crosses the timeline. Working at left wing here for Kent Raymond. Trying to post up Brad Smith instead. Leaves it for McCrary. Steps into an 18-foot jumper, and Tim McCrary, he didn't really want to shoot it, but he made it anyway. 43-39, Wheaton by 4 here. Flederer matched up against Dwyer. Dwyer leaves it to the outside, Rosenkrantz. Rosenkrantz left-handed dribble. He's been going left a lot today. Nearly poked away by McCrary. Scooped up, put in by Sexauer. After a quiet first half, Sexauer's caught fire here in the second half. Here's Panner, outside Raymond. McCrary. Thought about an 18-foot jumper from the corner there. No siree. Trying to find a post man. McCurry to Smith. Flederer. Raymond. Dribble drive, left hand. Blocked away. Good defense. And Dwyer kicks it up court to Zimmer. Goes off the window, puts it in for two. We are knotted back up at 43. The 8-point lead for the Thunder has evaporated. 43 all. Panner and the offense trying to get things back under control. Outside McCrary. Raymond going around the screen. Leaves it for Brad Smith. Smith, McCrary, deep post. Trying to go up and under, reverse. Not quite enough English on that one. Pulled down by O'Callahan. Here is Rosenkrantz with it once again. Jumps it down. For Sexauer, left-handed. Puts it up, gets a foul.
And that one is going to be on
McCrary's second. John's getting ready to check back in along with Phil Carr now.
I like that substitution. Phil Carr has played real well, and John's actually connected with him earlier. Wheaton's got to continue to attack the basket. Did it last time down the floor in the form of McCrary under the basket, but got to get some guard play going to the basket.
So Sexauer drills that first one. 77% free throw shooter on the season. The lefty's got one more upcoming. Sean Johnson getting ready to check back in as well. Rosenkrantz, the deep man here, as the safety. And Sexauer rattles that one through. So Dwyer is out, and Sexauer is out as well. For Wheaton, Kent Raymond is out. It's Flederer and Johns in the backcourt. Carr, Panner, and Smith up front. Leaves it for Panner. Trying to dump it low for Carr, and that's off his leg. Trying to save it. It goes in the hands of Zimmer. Rosenkrantz working. Leading by 2, Illinois Wesleyan. Handoff Johnson. Deep 3 ball. Drills it. 48-43 now for Wesleyan. They are pumped up right now. And Wheaton, this has just been a game of runs here, Noah. Just when it looks like one team is pulling away, the other one comes back in. And right now, Wesleyan is the team that's got all the momentum in the world.
Yeah, Wesleyan and Sean Johnson there. If Johnson has got about 1.5 foot of space in front of him, he's going to pull. And that time, Johns thought he wasn't going to pull because he was so far out. But he eyed him up anyway. Actually took very little time eyeing him up and put it down the well. Wheaton, on the other hand, we've been talking about you have to continue to attack the basket. We have seen very little consistency in Wheaton's attack. There has not really been any one thing that this team has been able to go to time and again down the floor. And that one thing has to be penetration to the basket. Wheaton has to get to the free throw line. They got to the foul line 8 times in the first half. And I do not think have we been there so far this second half?
We have not been back in the second half. So that's one thing they're going to have to get going. There are 4 fouls against Wesleyan, already 6 against the Thunder. So that's another thing we're going to have to watch to see if the Thunder can keep that under control and not turn this into a free throw shooting competition. Sure, Wheaton's a good free throw shooting team, but Wesleyan's not bad themselves. Back to live action. Here comes Flederer. Working the ball against Zimmer. That's 6 foot against 6'5". Flederer goes behind the back, trying to get some separation. Leaves it for Johns. Trying to work around the Brad Smith screen. Leaves it for Panner down low. Panner fouled, couldn't quite get that one to go, but will go to the free throw line for 2. And that's exactly what you wanted, right, Noah?
That's exactly what I wanted. Again, Johns' penetration, even though he doesn't get all the way to the hole, that's fine. You're still moving in that direction. What that does is it collapses the defense a little bit. The post is going to step, which frees up space right under the basket, and then allowed BP to cut along the baseline.
So Panner knocks the first one down. McCurry is going to come back in for Phil Carr. And Panner will have another one upcoming here. 48-44, trying to cut that lead to 3 is Ben Panner. 6'3" guard for the Thunder, drills it. 48-45 now, just over halfway through the second half of play. Rosenkrantz brings it into the front court, matched up against Flederer. Flederer falls down, but stays right with him. Left-handed, put up and in by Rosenkrantz.
He's done that probably 4 times this game. He drives to the hole, he puts it on his right hand, and then he crosses over to his left and just does circles around everyone to his left.
Here's Johns on the right wing. Leaves it for McCrary, and that's picked by Rosenkrantz. Rosenkrantz leaves it for Johnson. Trying to get the body right there, and they're going to call a foul down low. Trying to take the charge.
That's going to be the 3rd on Johns.
And Johns might have to take a seat now, as there'll be a trio of Wheaton substitutions upcoming in a moment. Already in the bonus.
Johnson, a 62% free throw shooter on the season.
A little surprising to have a guard like Johnson not shooting that well from the line, but
he might want to back up from 3.
Nick Van Exel used to shoot his free throws from about 19 feet out, if you'll recall.
That's right.
So it's been done before. And Johnson knocks that first one down. Not a ton of attempts for this guy. 13 for 21 from the foul line coming in today. So not a great body of work to look at. But Johnson, with his mate, if he makes this free throw, will improve himself a couple more percentage points. And he knocks that one down as well. The lead is up to 7 now for Wesleyan. 9:52 now to go in this second half. Raymond has checked back in. Panner going between the circles. Leaves it for Raymond. Carwell in the left corner. Outside for Panner. Crossover dribble. Bodied by Zimmer. gets contact and trying to finish it was Panner, but I think they're going to call it on the floor.
Yeah, they're going to call it on the floor, and it is going to be on Zimmer. That's going to be his second, and the team's sixth. So next one's going to be 1-1.
Johns triggering the inbounds, gets it to Carwell in the left corner. Carwell spinning, leaves it for Johns. Wide open three ball. Got it.
Big shot.
Andrew Johns, who was so huge in the tournament run for the Thunder last year, having the ice in his veins on that one, knocks it down for three, and that was a huge bucket, cuts it to 4. Carwell gambled for the steal. Sexauer picks it up, puts it in. Back to 6 now. 54-48, the Thunder trailing the Titans. Panner trying to get around Zimmer. Leaves it to the outside for Johns. Trying to lose Johnson. Into the low post here for Carr. Panner on the right wing. Raymond goes to the bucket strong, gets hacked. Will go to the foul line, 4-2.
See, and he may not even have been fouled there. It looked like a lot of ball was gotten when Raymond went up to finish off the nice pass from BP, but there's your penetration. He moves into the lane without the ball, and then he goes up with the ball, and now he gets a nice trip to the line.
And that's also the respect that Kent Raymond gets from these officials as one of the greatest players in the history of the CCIW. And he's back for more this year. Raymond knocks the first one down. He'll have another one upcoming, 54-49.
And Smith is going to get some time now for Carr.
Raymond second. Nothing but the bottom of the cup. Rosenkrantz controls, brings into the front court. Raymond will match up against him. To the outside for Dwyer. He had a nice break. Going around Johns. Wild shot. Pulled down by O'Callahan, and almost like a pass off the backboard right there to O'Callahan. Raymond going between the legs, thought about the shot for a moment there to Brad Smith. Raymond's got that height advantage, goes behind the back. Foul called on the floor.
And he'll go to the line.
1-1 situation, 8th team foul against Wesleyan, and this stops the clock with 8:20 to go in the second half.
I think we've said it a lot this year, but Kent shooting 91.5% from the free throw line.
Knocks down the second. He's missed one already today. So he's done for the day. That's all he's going to miss.
Careful. Careful.
Percentages say.
Okay, hit that one.
I couldn't do the announcer jinx at that point, Noah. I wasn't trying to. Here comes Rosenkrantz. Leaves it to the outside here for Dwyer. Back outside, Rosenkrantz, deep right wing. That's about Dan Marley three-point land right there. The outside, Dwyer. A little bit too long. Battled. Rebound goes to O'Callahan. Low post, trying to get Sexauer.
Good hustle, Brad Smith.
Smith diving to the floor, knocks it off of Sexauer. Will stay Wheaton basketball.
That's big. Cut this to a one-possession game right here. Let's go.
56-52, and Raymond will slow things down. 27 seconds on the shot clock to work with. Panner on the right wing. Cutter, here comes Johns. Leaves it for Panner, right corner. Had his man beat off the dribble. Raymond thought about the three. Instead, he'll leave it. Good look. Didn't take it. Instead, Panner. Brad Smith, 15-foot jumper. Off target. Pulled down by Wesleyan. Here comes Dwyer. I wanted to say Neitzel for a second there, Noah.
He sure looks like it.
Rosenkrantz. Carwell thought about the steal for a second there. Dribbling around the Sexauer screen. Dwyer leaves it for Johnson. Carwell nearly took it away once again. Cross court. Rosenkrantz. Clock down to 6. They'll say it'll stay here. Deflected off of Wheaton, and the players can't believe it.
Yeah,
I can't believe it.
Ken Raymond just shakes his head right in front of the official. Jake Carwell does a nice reenactment of what actually occurred.
Johnson trying to get penetration, couldn't do it. Here comes Panner, open court, stripped away by Dwyer, and he was standing on the baseline, so he could not save it. But a real good play by Dwyer just to knock that thing away.
Same thing Jeremy Flederer did earlier.
Except there was no anticipation this time by the official.
No, it all just happened too fast, Jacob.
Johns inbounds it to Smith, leaves it for Carwell at the top of the key. Raymond, dribble drive, left hand, goes up, draws contact, puts it off the window, 4-2. Kent Raymond, what can you say there, Noah? Just a beautiful drive to the bucket.
Nicely done. He gets the body contact there on the low left block, gets his man in the air, gets the contact, and then puts his shot high up off the glass. Nice touch.
Very nice. Off the window. I love the window. Drills the free throw. We got a 1-point lead now. 6:38 to go. Rosenkrantz bringing it into the front court, crosses the Thunder logo. Goes around Raymond using the left hand, and fortunately didn't finish this one off, but unfortunately O'Callahan goes over the top and puts it in.
He's getting some great minutes right now.
58-55, Thunder trailing by 3. Outside Carwell, left wing. Carwell trying to find an opening. Goes for Raymond. Raymond leaves it for Panner. Panner going to work some clock here. Carwell in the low post. Turns, falls, goes into it, puts it up and in. Carwell with a big basket. The lead is back to 1. 58-57. Dwyer going around Johns. Goes behind the back. Johns slipped. Long jumper.
That's going to be a 2.
O'Callahan showing some touch there. Knocking down the long 2. Raymond going around the Brad Smith screen. Leaves it for Brad Smith. Leaves it back out for Raymond. Carwell's going to come out, try to set a pick for him. Raymond steps into a 3. Off the mark. Rebound pulled down Dwyer. 2-on-1 fast break. Slowed down. Raymond, good ball stoppage right there. Low post Chamernick. Outside Dwyer. Rosenkrantz. Shot clock down to 20. Directing the offense from his point guard position on the right wing, deep in front of the Wesleyan bench. Dribble drive around. Knocked away by Brad Smith. Going to the floor with it. Trying to steal it was Johns. Rosenkrantz off balance jumper. Air ball. Chamernick. Picked up by Carwell. That's a shot clock violation, but the Wheaton's got it anyway, so the refs will say, let it go. Thunder basketball.
It's a good defensive stance by the Thunder, and you got it. We keep saying it, and maybe Coach Harris wants to say it right now in the form of a timeout, but we have to continue going to the basket. You saw last possession, Kent pull up from 3, came off a screen. This is a shot that we have seen him hit consistently.
Time after time.
He has all the ability and AOKs in the world, or at least in the gym, to take that shot in any gym. But what Wheaton needs to do is to continue to attack the basket.
And with this timeout, Noah, we'd like to remind what this broadcast is from.
This broadcast of Wheaton College basketball is sponsored by Dr. Richard Hyde. Dr. Rick believes Jesus gives life and healing to his children. He uses his spinal cord and the brain to do this in the human body. Dr. Rick uses computerized technology as well as chiropractic and physical therapy to achieve the God-given health potential of his patients. Dr. Richard Hyde is on Roosevelt Road in Wheaton. Dr. Richard Hyde at 630-665-0788.
So we've got 4s on the scoreboard right now, Noah.
4:44 left.
4:44. And we're in that last 5 minutes of the game. This is Kent Raymond's time. And you saw him take the 3 like you mentioned. We'll be seeing a few more 3s from Kent Raymond in these moments. And if Wheaton is going to try to get a big bucket, they'll go to him. But it's nice to have shooters on the floor like Panner and Johns as well.
And, I mean, you want to look for Carwell on the dump pass. If Kent goes up in the lane, look for Carwell.
So here's Raymond. Leaves it outside for Panner. Matched up against Rosenkrantz. Dribble handoff, goes to the outside. Left corner, Andrew Johns. Foul down low. Wheaton's got some free throws coming up. And the man to shoot them, Kent Raymond.
And that was, if you're a Wheaton fan and you're watching this game, that was a gimme foul. I mean, you ticky-tack. Something that Kent Raymond probably shouldn't expect day in, day out.
So that's the 10th foul against Wesleyan, and that's huge. Double bonus, shooting 2 free throws the rest of the way on out now are the Thunder. Raymond's got one more upcoming here. Rattles that one in off the front rim and through. So Titans lead by the slimmest of margins, 60-59. Rosenkrantz in the front court. Trying to move around the screen by Chamernick. Comes out, Panner, good penetration, just a good shot by Rosenkrantz right there with a hand in his face. 4-11, Thunder trailing by 3. Ben Panner with the basketball. Panner working. Left wing for Andrew Johns. Low post, Kent Raymond turns, fires, draws contact, doesn't get the foul call, but gets the 2 instead. 62-61 now, 3:50 to go. Rosenkrantz going around the O'Callahan screen. Dwyer thought about the long 3 for a moment there, dribbling around Johns. Left hand, handoff, goes to the outside here for Koshnitsky. Koshnitsky goes up, batted away by Kent Raymond.
Stuffed.
Raymond pulls it back to the outside. Carwell. Panner going around the Carwell screen. Panner, Raymond. Backing down Rosenkrantz. Goes up. Finishes at the bucket. Wheaton back up top by 1. 3:13 to go now. And Illinois Wesleyan wants a timeout. What a sequence for Kent Raymond. Getting the block on the one end, slowing it down, getting it back under control on the offensive end, putting it in, drawing the contact, and making 2 difficult buckets.
Very, very good job finishing the leaner in the lane. Defensively, though, that is what you love to see out of a captain. Kent Raymond, you've got the big man on the outside. Who was it? Was it Sexauer who put the ball on the floor? I believe it was Sexauer. It was either...
It was Koshnitsky, actually.
Okay. So, both of them pretty big. Koshnitsky, 6'6", and their bigs do a tremendous job of putting the ball on the floor as well. They won't take it from the perimeter usually, but the mid-range area on in, they'll put it on the floor, favor their good hand, and try to take it hard to the low block for easy laying. And that time, Koshnitsky came in. Actually, there's no screening really at all for him. He just took his man one-on-one from the left elbow to the low right block, tried to put it up. Not today. Kent Raymond comes in from the used to be strong side, that time the weak side, and he got up and absolutely packaged and shipped it.
That was a Dikembe Mutombo type of block right there.
I mean, he might as well have stuck his pointer finger up and said, no, no, no.
He might have drawn attack, but I would have liked to see it. We still have time, though. There's still a long season to go in front of us.
There's still plenty of basketball to be played right now, too.
Under 200 seconds now. Rosenkrantz leads it to the outside. Sexauer. Dwyer dribbling around a screen. Outside Johnson. Johnson working against Panner. Dribbles with the left hand in the hole. Dwyer thought about the 3 for a second. Drives to the middle of the hoop. Picks up his dribble. He walked.
Good job by Johns catching up with him.
If he was LeBron James, he would have said, that was my crab dribble right there.
You got to give it to him.
But unfortunately, doesn't quite have the stature of LeBron James to get that call, and a good call by the official. Outside, Brad Smith, left wing. Trying to post up Kent Raymond. Leaves it instead for Andrew Johns. Raymond steps into a 3.
Baby.
Bang-a-rang! Kent Raymond for 3.
Give me that.
Give me all 3 of those. 66-62. Rosenkrantz comes back the other way. Outside Dwyer. Swarmed by the Wheaton defense. Rosenkrantz trying to work it. Raymond stays right with him. Outside, Sexauer. Low post. Smith dives the floor to knock it away. It will be a foul on the floor, but it's a 1-and-1 situation for Illinois Wesleyan as Smith dove to the floor, picked up his second foul.
That's all right. the way that he picked up that foul is okay with me. Smith getting after the ball defensively, had himself in between his man, the ball, and the basket, and he actually just tried to dive around him and knock that ball away, force a turnover.
Chamernick, a 90% free throw shooter on the season. Trying to use my jinx here.
And a boy, Jacob.
Carwell pulls down the rebound. Johnson picked it up, gets it back, so I used it, but didn't work all the way there. Instead, it goes outside Dwyer. Dwyer trying to find an opening. Leaves it for Rosenkrantz. Dribble in the middle of the floor, steps into a jumper from 18. That's off target. Carwell pulls that one down as well. And
that should be a foul because
Sexauer trying to give him a big hug, a bear hug. And it's a foul against him, and Carwell's got some free throws coming up.
Thought they were going to call a jump ball at first, but Sexauer had his arm basically around Carwell's neck,
it looks
trying
like
to bring that in.
They were in a wrestling match here, and for Sexauer, that's foul number 5. If we were at the UC, we could hit the road jack right now, but fortunately we don't have that for us right now.
What you do hear sometimes is you hear right, left, just tracking the player's movement until he finally sits down on the bench. We'll see if Sexauer gets that royal treatment.
It is a very royal treatment, as it were.
First, Jake's got a couple free throws to make, and on the season, Jake from the free throw line shoots 80%.
Well, I heard it a little bit. It's not quite as animated today due to the lack of crowd supporting Wheaton, but I did hear it, Noah. Carwell's first. Through the uprights and good.
I love that football terminology.
It's appropriate for right now after the takedown that occurred on Carwell's rebound. That's off the target. Rebound pulled down here by Koshnitsky.
5-point game.
To the outside. Rosenkrantz. Johnson. 3-ball.
Oh, that's a terrible call. That is a terrible, terrible call. Giving him an opportunity for a 4-point play. There was no foul. 0 foul whatsoever on the left wing.
Yeah, Panner backed off to avoid the foul call, but again, anticipation of the official calling that one against Ben Panner.
Well, also, Sean Johnson doing a little bit of his, we're assuming no relation to the gymnast, Sean Johnson here, but he looked like a bit of a balance beam walker when he fell over on the side trying to draw the foul.
He had the dismount right there at the end. So 4-point play, 67-65 now. Just under 100 seconds to go in this ball game. Andrew Johns in the backcourt.
This is CCIW basketball, though, right? No team expected to go undefeated. Stacked conference, tight game. This is what you want as a spectator.
Panner turns, spins, working against Rosenkrantz, trying to post up Raymond. Outside Johns, Brad Smith, left wing. Smith trying to post Carwell. He's like, nah, I can't do that right now. Leaves it for Johns. Panner, shot clock down to 7. Crossover, off balance. BP puts it in. And Ben Panner, you are the Pan.
Ben, the last time these two teams played was 3 of 12 from the field. And one thing that he has done a tremendous job on, I wasn't here his freshman year, but the entire time that I've been able to witness him play basketball is his mid-range game. And that time, again, a little stop and go from about 16, 17 feet out. And then the shooter's touch, keeping that up on the rim, and then finally falling through.
It wasn't the kiss off the glass.
No, sir.
It was a nice, soft touch.
That's right.
Downy soft.
It's downy soft, if you want to call it that.
Or, we were talking a little about the Dan Marley three-point land a little bit earlier. Kind of like the puppy in Marley and Me. Little puppy.
I didn't see
soft. That. Well, it's a sad movie, Noah, but it's a good movie, too.
Maybe so. I don't like sad movies, Jake. I don't think I'm going to watch it.
I'd probably advise you that way. Unofficial plug for Marley and Me.
All right.
A movie that I saw over the weekend and cried a little bit during. But that's beside the point. Another story for another day.
Well, we might see some tears after this game. Whatever team goes down is going to be feeling like they got the short end of the stick. I mean, both these teams came in to compete. Illinois Wesleyan came out with a 22-9 lead on the Thunder and then went cold. And we have had one fantastic battle so far here in the second half. The Thunder still finding ways to put points up on the board. Last time, mid-range jumper.
Yeah, the loser will have a 0% winning percentage in conference so far. Outside for Dwyer. Chamernick thrown away. They're going to say deflected off of Raymond. Raymond really wanted that call right there. You could see it as he was right in front of us.
He's just excited. He just wants to get at it defensively and looking for the call to go his way. You can't blame him. Any player would do that.
54.7 seconds to go now. Rebound goes to Rosenkrantz. Outside, Johnson steps into another three. That's off target. Rebound pulled down by Carwell. Wheaton's going to milk the clock here, coming back up the other way. And Wesleyan trailing by 4. Panner takes it across the timeline. Leaves it for Raymond. And Dwyer's all over him. Johnson comes out to greet Panner, and a reach-in foul against Sean Johnson.
That'll send BP to the line for 2.
And BP hasn't really filled up the scorebook today, but his contributions go way beyond that stat sheet with the job he's done here defensively.
And he has a little bit of length on Johnson, but that doesn't keep him from shooting. As you saw that last time in the corner, Johnson firing away, almost hit anyway. BP's length is a tremendous asset for him on the defensive end.
He misses the first one. Score remains 69-65, 30 seconds to go here. In King Arena, Wheaton's first home game of the 2009 part of the season. Panner drills that one, 70-65. Titans moving with speed here. Carwell comes out to reach. Knocked it away, Rosenkrantz. Johnson drives to the bucket, off the window, no good. Ball goes to the floor, into the hands of Chamernick.
And Johns is down.
There was a slew of bodies just going right at each other in the low block there, and Johns looks like he got just a little blow right there.
Yeah, looks like he took a shot to the stomach. And one thing that's good to see is that it's not his right knee. He actually tore his ACL coming into his freshman season here, which is a big reason why he sat out, not the whole first half of last year, but he sat out a good amount of it, and it looks like he's going to try to get up off the floor now. And it was either to the stomach or a little bit below that, and that's very painful, and Andrew will take his time getting up off the floor.
And for 70-67, Johns will get up and walk it off.
And the trainers did come on the floor, so I believe that means he has to be substituted. I'm not 100% positive, but I think he does have to be substituted.
Bill Harris is asking that question to the officials on the floor. Can I still leave him in? But Johns will have a seat on the bench, it looks like.
Okay, right now you got 16.7 seconds left, and you're going to see Flederer come in for Johns. You want to see Bill Harris is going to draw up some sort of play to get the ball in the hands of his best free throw shooter, which is Kent Raymond. So there are a couple ways to do this. We're going to have the ball out of bounds. You're going to be able to run the baseline because it was a made basket, so he'll remind his players of that. You'll probably have one of the easiest ways, actually, for someone to get open. Instead of having two players right next to each other and screening for one another to get open, a lot of times it's easiest just to have the one player, so just have Kent by himself with his defender kind of spread away from him. And if Kent goes in to meet his defender, get right up next to him, and then he can push off a little bit and get open.
Wesleyan's going to double him with Zimmer and with Dwyer, and they get to Raymond anyway, and here comes the triple team. Wesleyan wanted a jump ball, but it's a foul instead.
1.6 seconds off the clock and possible 2 more points up on the board.
Raymond would not be denied on that one. Didn't care that there was a double team and it eventually turned into a triple team. That basketball was going to be his. To make this a 2-possession game, K-Ray at the line, 4-2. Pounds it, upright. And there's the shooter's touch Kent Raymond so wanted. 71-67, Andrew Johns back in. Brad Smith out.
Keeping good free throw shooters on the floor.
And the one big right now is Carwell.
He's had a fantastic game.
Raymond's free throw up and good. This one's the swoosh variety. 72-67. Don't foul here if you're Wheaton. Rosenkrantz pulls up for three, knocks that one down, and Wesleyan will take a timeout, and they will not go quietly. Bringing it back to a 2-point game.
I mean, Johns did about what you want. You do want to contest the shot, which you did. You do not want to get too close to the shooter, whereas you can pull a Sean Johnson, something we saw earlier where he went down actually off the three-pointer and hit it and then had the opportunity for the 4-point play. So now Wheaton's in the same position it was just a second ago, except instead of a 3-point lead, I believe it's a 2-point lead now. So
what is it with Johnson's and 4-point plays, Noah? Larry Johnson, Sean Johnson. The only difference will be Sean Johnson's 3 will not be the turning point in the ball game.
No, and right now at this point it's 72-70, so the game is so close. The turning point in the ball game, if Wesleyan wins, is going to be if they can take the lead, and that will be the turning point. The climax will have come at the end of this game.
So Wheaton will put their 5 on the floor. This is their free throw shooting lineup. Flutterer, Johns, Raymond, Panner, and Carwell. And they're going to do the same double technique on Kent Raymond. He's going to try to break free. It looks almost like the intentional foul when Shaq is trying to break free, except it's the exact opposite of that. Raymond's going to try to V-cut and get open for Carwell, the biggest Wheaton player on the floor, trying to trigger the inbounds here for somebody. And he gets it finally to Panner. Panner gets fouled. Clock down to 8.9 seconds, and first option was Raymond, but Panner's a good number 2 option to have here as he goes to the foul line with an opportunity to ice this ball game.
Not a bad option too at all, shooting 83% on the season. McCrary actually has missed most of the end of the game. I believe his lip was bleeding earlier. He's also 83% foul shooter, so usually he'd be on the floor in that situation too.
Panner's first free throw, drilled. And he's got one more to put this one away. Wheaton not going to do a defensive strategy here where they're going to leave their 4 guards in for this free throw by Panner. And Panner makes them both. It's a 4-point game, 74-70. Here comes Dwyer back the other way. Leaves it for Rosenkrantz. Deep 3-pointer. That's off target, knocked out of bounds by Carwell, volleyball style. Stay here for Wesleyan, but there's only 1.4 seconds to go.
And
do not foul.
That's exactly what the words that just came out of Panner's mouth. He is saying, under no circumstances do you foul and give him a chance to tie this up.
Zimmer trying to create contact, doesn't get it, and Wheaton pulls out the victory 74-70. And this is the kind of game you come to expect in the CCIW, Noah.
And we're going to see more of them. Augustana and Elmhurst played today. We are actually traveling to North Park University coming this Saturday, the 10th, and then they got a hard game against Augustana. Tough game at Milliken. That's a long drive there. And Carthage and Elmhurst right after that. So the beat goes on, and Wheaton College conference schedule is just underway. 1-0 in conference so far.
And a very happy Wheaton team. They overcame a lot in this basketball game today, and we're going to be joined by Coach Harris here for the final moments of the ball game. And he's having a little discussion for us first, Noah, but we'll be joined by Coach Harris momentarily to give us his take on this ball game. And Coach Harris, it was a great win today. Obviously one of the closer ones that we've had the entire season, 4 points, and just a game of runs. And what was the main thing you were doing as Wesleyan got out to the big lead? Did you tell them not to panic, or what were you feeling?
You talk about the first half?
First half, yeah.
First half, I was telling them to execute the game plan. They ran the offensive sets we expected, and we simply weren't doing what we had practiced. Part of that is, I think we were a little tight at the beginning, and they scored 19 points in like the first 6 minutes. And then they scored 10 the last 14 minutes, so we knew we could defend them then. Second half, when they got that 5-point lead, 6-point lead, whatever, it might have gone to 7, I think. Jacob was in foul trouble. He had 3 fouls early. Just had to get him out, get it to the 10-minute mark, and once he came back in, he played great defense for us and did a great job on the boards. But Kent Raymond, I don't know. He just put us on his back and we just rode him.
Yeah,
I don't know what the final stats are going to say, but he had 3 men hanging on him, and he was just sensational.
We're getting our final stats right now, and Raymond ends the game.
Thanks.
38, Coach Harris.
He had 38?
Yep, 38. 12 for 23 from the field, 2 for 7 from downtown, and the big stat, 12 for 13 at the foul line.
And one of those 2 for 7s was a huge one that put us up for good. Where's the boards? We got killed on the glass, and part of that was
it was dead even at the half. It was 16 to 16.
And part of that was, Jacob was doing a good job for us, and he was out in foul trouble. With Wheels out, we're not a big team.
And McCurry being out as well for a good deal that second.
Yeah,
half
Tim just had some sort of freshman deer in the headlights tonight. He'll get over that. He's a much better player than he showed tonight, but sometimes it takes you a game or two in conference to up that level, and he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Well, you talk about McCurry not having the game that we're accustomed to, especially after the great game he had against Grinnell, but Phil Carr came in and did a real good job for you.
He really did.
Good minutes.
He really did. Was not intimidated at all. Just kept going to the glass. How many did Carr end up with? 8, 6?
Carr ended up with 7.
7 points. He had that one old-fashioned three-point play where he laid it in, got fouled, and made the free throw. Those were big points for us. Jacob, it doesn't. I mean, the 8 points and the 6 rebounds don't really tell the story. He did such a good job on help defense, and there were a lot of factors in there tonight when we were shorthanded as we were, and part of it was in the game plan, we wanted Tim getting a lot more minutes, but he just wasn't effective out there. And so we went small a lot of the night, and our guards did it. But, I mean, Kent Raymond was sensational. I don't know. I don't have I can't think of an adjective.
We're running out of adjectives.
Outstanding, overwhelming. Find me an English major or a thesaurus, and we can tell how great he played tonight. That was simply an all-American performance. Then 2 big free throws by BP with 9 seconds left. Huge win for us. Huge win for us. But the kids are playing hard. They're playing well. But we really need to get Wheelie back to get to be as strong as we need to be. But we'll start working on our next game. We won't have him Saturday either, so we've got to, and we go on the road in conference. So, but this was a big hold for us, shorthanded and being down so early. We down 13 points early, and even in the second half, I think our biggest deficit in the second half was 7. Came back and we went up. I think we went up 6 or 7, but then they hit that huge 3. Was that Rosenkrantz or Dwyer hit that huge 3 right down there with 12 seconds left, or
that was
20
Rosenkrantz, I believe.
Was it
Yeah.
He hit it from probably 25, 27 feet. So, and then their big 4-point play really hurt us there inside of a minute too. So, but our kids found a way to get it done.
And Coach Harris, obviously there's a lot of pressure that goes with being the new number 1 in the country. You felt that had anything to do with the early going? Have you a little bit too much pressure on yourselves? Or?
Perhaps. Unfortunately, I'm an old man, and we've been through this a lot. The newspapers have asked me the last couple of days about the number 1 ranking. I said, it's January 7th. It's meaningless. It is absolutely meaningless, right? See me the 3rd week in March, and we'll talk.